tons of stuff chasing. Okay, well, I called the guy, he wanted, I talked to his machine. So,
We have a way to go out of it. So.
Are you going to be speaking on the Walnut Ridge Phase 2 request?
I don't know if Aaron or maybe
Oh,
Malcolm
okay.
is Susan.
Oh, they're safe. They're here. Want to make sure he was here. I don't know what to do about that clock. It keeps
Messing up.
going fast.
Not be made for government.
It's not. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. I'm Mayor Chris Martin, calling to order the regular session of the Logansport Board of Public Works and Safety. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Adrian Grant,
Here.
Chris Martin,
Here.
Jacob Palmso.
Here.
All right, we'll start with the approval of the minutes for the May 22nd, 2024 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Jacob Palmso,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Next is the approval of claims for $357,147.34. This includes claims for $57,630.62 and payroll for $299,516.72. I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
Call for question.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Jacob Palmso.
Yes.
All right, public comment. Anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for us. All right. Seeing none, no old business, on to new business. We'll start with Dave Morris. Walnut Ridge Phase 2 request.
We may need you too, Aaron. We brought all
clear as
the
mud.
reinforcements.
There you go.
I said, we need at least three, there's three of them. Okay.
You got one in reserve.
Huh?
And one in reserve. but-
Oh, yeah, absolutely, if we need her. I told her Kelly's here too, so watch out. Oh, shoot. I'll give you the simple version, and then if Aaron needs to expand on it at all, she can do that. The Walnut Ridge condominium subdivision started in the late 1990s. It was built in 3 phases, and from what we found out now, the reason that they're not on our road system is because they were never completely finished. The paperwork wasn't. So it was done in 3 phases. The first phase was dedicated to the city. The second phase was not, and the third phase was. So what we would like to do today, we brought plats if you'd like to look at it. We've got all kinds of wonderful information here. But what we'd like to do is finish what was never completed and have the Phase 2 dedicated today. Basically, to dedicate it, the streets had to be completed. The contractor paid for everything to have the roads built, the sidewalks, the curbs. All the infrastructure is in place. And all this would be is saying the city now accepts it because it's been completed and takes responsibility. Street sweepers been out there cleaning the streets, patching, whatnot for years. Unbeknownst to them, it wasn't on the inventory. And then the final step would be, according to Aaron, it all has to be surveyed. And that is to properly allocate the taxes for the area that's being talked about. It takes the tax burden away from the homeowners in that area for the part of the streets that would be surveyed off and given to the city. But what we'd like to do today is just have the second phase. I've got a map here if you'd like to look at the second phase. We'd be glad to roll it out, let you look at it. But we'd like to get that confirmed today. Malcolm's here. He's part of the Phase 2 Association president or vice president.
Vice President, yep.
And Aaron is here probably to answer the questions I can't. But that's a simple explanation. As you see, Phase 1 was dedicated dedicated clear back in 1998, Phase 3 in 2005, and I believe Phase 3 was completed in 2001. So, but the paperwork was just not done.
Fantastic. Any questions?
No, yeah, we've talked about it.
Very good. All right, I'll make a motion to dedicate, right? Dedicate Phase 2 to the City of Logansport.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmacell.
Yes.
All good?
All right.
So just so everybody knows, the next phase would get a survey to get the legal description for those roads and then deeding those roads over to the city, so.
Awesome.
And then it'll all show up right on Elevate and all
Yep.
that stuff.
And one final, and this is like another, and this, sometimes things happen for the seemingly the wrong reason, but they end up being good. The association out there had put in for the 50/50 program. And through discussions with Jacob, he told Malcolm that those streets weren't even in the city inventory, and that was the reason that they were going to wait and not confirm their 50/50 project out there for a new sidewalk in front of one of the homes. I'd like for that to be reconsidered. I'd like for that to be done. They don't intend to bombard the city with 25 applications in a year, but I look at it like this. Here's an area where they pay taxes. They also pay association fees. You're never going to have Walnut Ridge in front of the Board of Works for maintenance issues, yard issues. They take care of their property. So I'd like to move that application forward and have it approved also.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think now that we've done this part, as long as we're moving forward on the survey and getting all that stuff taken care of, I feel comfortable with us moving forward on that, so.
And I just have a kind of a curiosity question. Jacob, now that sort of recognize that, well, Phase 1 and 3 were dedicated some time back. Phase 2 will get caught up. And then will the city be able to include these in an asset management plan that would
Yes,
qualify for state?
yep, yeah, so we'll need all the, the length and width and all that kind of stuff, which will come from the survey, and so when that's done, it'll be added to it, and then, yeah,
Would be
we'll be
our
all
total
good.
road distances and all
Exactly.
that would be
Yep.
enforced by that amount.
Okay, good.
Appreciate your hard work,
Thank
all
you,
the
guys.
hard work you put into it. Yep.
Didn't we just do a contract with some company to do that? I mean, to put all that, update the maps or whatever that is?
Yeah, to do the asset management, yes, so that'll be something that we can incorporate into that when that's finishing up.
All right, up next is contracts and agreements, translation agreement for Christian. This is standard, your normal translation agreement. Christian is a Spanish speaker, correct, Christian? Yes. And so I will make a motion to approve this translation agreement for Christian Montero.
Second?
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Jacob Palmacell,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant.
Yes.
All right, next up, Aaron Schaefer, H&H Landscaping.
Excuse me,
Yes.
we don't get to read the whole agreement, we just see the first paragraph or two, just so you know.
There's paper
There's
copies?
paper.
Yeah. Sorry, you're welcome. Go ahead, Aaron.
So the H&A landscaping is for the, sorry, get to it, is for the property that is owned by Redevelopment Commission. They have allocated funds to be able to pay someone to maintain the properties that they own. This will take care of 401 Tangy Street, 800 Race Street, and then Lexington Village, except for the pond area. We're still working to find someone that will do the pond. But they're moving forward with that and just contract approving them to work on those properties.
All right. And this is budgeted within the RDC, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the H&H Landscaping Professional Services Agreement.
Second?
Call for question.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmacell.
Yes.
All right, next up is the Planning Department's quarterly report for the first quarter.
For improvement location permits, we had 105, which estimated project cost of $9,092,375. Change of occupancy, we had 2. Demos, we had 4 of a total cost of $37,000. BZA, we had 9 BZA cases come forward. Development plan review and architecture review, we had 6 and 0 home occupations. Last year, first quarter, we had 57 permits at a total of $20,591,296, and this year we had 126 for a total of $9,129,375. So a lot more smaller projects are happening in the community, which I think is a good point.
All right. Make a motion to approve the planning department's quarterly report.
Second?
Call for question.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Jacob Palmacell.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, do these guys carry insurance? Do we have from another deal?
Yeah, they're registered contractor, and they have liability insurance, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, do they have that? Because they're mowing and
Yeah, they already mow some city properties, so they have liability insurance.
we have the certificate of that insurance.
I think so. I can double check with the building commissioner's office or the clerk treasurer's office, but they had previously been doing properties in the city for the city.
Okay, prior to today. you mean-
Prior to the RDCs, yeah.
Very good. Next up, street department applications for curb street cut.
Afternoon, Tony.
Tony?
Welcome back.
No, thank you. So, all the ones for Pierce, that project number 2510619 are all telecommunication infrastructure, and it'll all be boring under the street and the right-of-way.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve Pierce Services project number 2510619 for 600 Humphrey Street, intersection of Humphrey Street and East Mildred Street, 130 East Dewey Street, and 11 Wolf Road.
Second.
Call for question.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmacell.
Yes.
Then QC Communications.
Right, this one also is in the right-of-way and also boring under, so no asphalt will be disturbed. Thank goodness.
Right. Exactly.
Hate to have a street cut.
I'll make a motion to approve the applications for curb street cut for QC Communications.
Second.
Yes.
We cannot hear the speakers at this microphone. They're speaking to you and they're up close. They're not being amplified back here. So it's hard.
Do you want to move up to the first row?
No, I want the amplification to work for everyone.
Okay.
If you need to hear it, if you don't need to.
Did I make a motion? And
We have a second,
Do I have a
yeah.
second? All right, very good. Call for question.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Jacob Palmacell.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Thanks.
Next up is code enforcement. Randy? Can you move that mic closer to you for me, please?
All right, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Last week, we sent out 15 new letters for trash and debris. I had 58 properties that were cleared from the weeks before. We have 56 that are still pending. We did not send any citations out last week. I did do 42 trash container warnings for being on the street. So we had no new notices to appear. We had 2 properties brought in last week and 2 cleanups ordered. Tagged 10 more cars last week on property. We had 6 that were cleared. I've got 4 that are pending. We had 14 new notices for first grass last week. We had 31 that were cleared from the week before. And we had 18 that were sent over to the street department.
Very good. I'll make a motion to approve the code enforcement's weekly report.
Second?
Call for question.
Jacob Palmacell,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant.
Yes.
All right, next is request for property cleanup or multiple violation properties. Do we have anyone here representing 707 West Miami Avenue? All right, seeing none, go ahead.
This one is issued a notice on 4/18. This has been ongoing for a couple months. The property itself, they've cleaned up in the yard, but they have not cleaned up the building material that's inside the garage area there. It's been about 4 months that that's been in there. And so we're starting to draw all rodents and everything else in there. and I've had no response from anybody there.
Is it what they use to side the?
They had demoed the original garage that was there and put another garage up. And so that's all,
Built it over the
Old.
stuff?
yeah, just, a-
Go right over that.
Yeah.
it's like they just knocked it down and then built it right back up. But-
So that's all debris.
But there's stuff on the outside of the garage as well there,
Yeah, I can
in
see.
between that garage and the neighbor's fence. That is all piled up there.
All right.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the property cleanup for 707 West Miami Avenue.
Second.
Call for question?
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmso.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Randy.
Randy.
All right, electrical licenses, everything has been turned in and gone through. So I will make a motion to approve electrical licenses for William Moore, doing business as William J. Moore, Rusty Newby, doing business as Newby Services LLC, Dan Lepley, doing business as Mid-States Electric, Dean Walters, doing business as Dilling Group Incorporated, Nicholas Barrows, doing business as BOE Construction and Maintenance, and Felipe Gomez.
Second?
Any further discussion? Call for question?
Jacob Palmso,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Adrian Grant.
Yes.
All right, next and final, Parks Department. Jan?
So, we have a resolution, correct? Is that, do you have that in your, did we get a number on that? It's not on the agenda.
Let's see. Let's see the resolution in here.
It should be 202, I believe. It's only the second one we've
202, okay, all right,
I'll check for sure and let you know, but it should be 202.
okay, cool. Well, anyway, so we're asking for the Board of Works to approve form and publication of requests for proposals to enter into a build, operate, and transfer agreement for the Dykeman Clubhouse project.
Very good. How excited are you about this?
Yes. Taken a long time to get to this point.
I'll make a motion to approve the ability to go after an RFP for the Dykeman Club project.
Second?
Any further discussion?
Are we supposed to be referencing a resolution here, or just, is it just approving the RFP?
You're approving this resolution that does include an RFP, yes.
This is an exhibit to the resolution, as I recall.
So it's Board of Works Resolution 2024 dash?
Yeah,
20.
should be 202.
202.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had that
Yeah.
on the record, because I don't have that. Okay. That was it. Motion second.
Yep. Call for question?
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmso.
Yes.
Thanks, Jan.
Excited to
Thanks,
get that
Jen.
going.
This goes out on Friday.
Hey,
All right, board member comments. Adrian?
nothing this week?
No, hope everybody had a good Memorial Day, and, we're able to be with family and friends, and, just understand the reason for, why we have the freedoms to do that.
Exactly. Yes. All right. Miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including ADA Section 504 compliance or concerns. All right. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 3:18 PM. Yes.
I wanted to give time to people to answer the ADA. I have.
You have a question? Sure. Scratch the adjournment. We're not adjourning.
My name is Sunny Miller. I co-own property at 1251 Smith Street. And heading back to Lafayette as soon as I'm done here. I want to let you know that there are no minutes on the city website for meetings in 2024 for the whole of the year. And I'm thinking that this would make void all of those wonderful precautions that are in place for a first reading and a second reading and public input. There are also no minutes up. This came to my attention because I was looking for the status of Patriots Park. which is my favorite park in Logansport. As you might remember, I brought that to the open house meeting, my concern for all that is going on there that's wonderful. Kids actually play together, they make up their games, they play, last I saw, Marco Polo. Anywhere on the playground, they forgot to make a boundary. So that Marco had to open her eyes. I have taken the invitation made by the president of the Parks Board to increase volunteer participation. And I called the Parks Department and got permission to plant flowers because that beautiful sign, I'm a sign painter as well, that is a handsome sign for Patriot Park. And have just, went out to the county, Carroll County, and dug up a bunch of iris someone was giving away, made a second trip, and I still have those to plant, along with some daylilies and Dutch iris. And then I bought some perennials and added those and have watered them, but the rain has helped a lot, so all those plants are probably doing fine. The thing that's not fine is that Mayor, your campaign pledge to work on transparency can't work if the website doesn't work. And I'm guessing the attorney would say business conducted without public knowledge may not stand up in court as valid. Is that true?
Well, it's published in other ways. I mean, it's been typed up, and it maybe haven't been put on the website, but it's been published and approved in every meeting, every subsequent meeting.
But if you can't see the meetings,
Well, you can by going into their office,
Yeah.
and it's just an oversight with a new clerk treasurer.
Public or request, and we'll get it to you as soon as you're in there. Or we can even email it to you.
and so I'm surprised because that doesn't really seem like full participation, especially in a neighborhood like that north side past the Eel River. You should also know that neighbors there don't trust government to be of any help to them. I see that some homeowners or landlords, I don't know which, I'm guessing it's the homeowners, but maybe that some landlords too, are really improving properties in that neighborhood. And other houses aren't making it, they're in some pretty poor repair. And I urge you to consider that as we hope for our children to get out and play, Jan kindly spoke with me after a Parks Board meeting, which was very short, and as you see, I often come late, and I was able to speak with her, and she said, well, the kids in the neighborhood can go to the school, Franklin School it is, I guess, that is closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if anyone here has ever brought a child to that playground to play. Anyone? What do the kids like to play there?
There's a lot of grass, open messages, just run around, do whatever, play tag, play monkey tag, play set, run around, play football, play soccer, play football. I grew up in that school, spent a lot of time out there.
Great.
Recently delivered DoorDash there to a family that was picnicking and like.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad to hear that, because when I've been driving, go and observe what's happening at Patriot Park, and then drive by and see what's not happening at Franklin Park. A lot of gravel, a fence that makes it look like a prison yard. I'm guessing there's a chemical sprayed on all the gravel to keep the weeds down, and that it gets hot in the summer. So I'm glad to hear about some grass. The grass at Patriot Park is also very popular. So yay for the grass, and yay for the Parks Department doing all the hard work of mowing. We don't get a lot of public recognition for the hard work of mowing and really taking care of the green spaces. It seems to me there's a lot of emphasis on very expensive and wonderful improvements, but for those of us who like the wild space, and for the kids who need wild space, I hope that the development committee, who is working on Patriot Park right now, and what is their plan?
There are multiple people.
Multiple. Which committee?
Community priorities would be the main one.
The redevelopment commission owns the property right now. It was sent out for requests for proposals to have development on that lot. The proposals that we received back include elements of single-family housing as well as some rentals, potential duplexes and triplexes for the area, as well as working with the city through that development to improve the park space down there. There's going to be park space remaining through the end of that development. They've also suggested potential commercial options for that area, retail. They've talked about small coffee shop, small something down there for that development as well. And so I think that when the redevelopment commission comes through and comes to a development agreement with the interested parties, that it'll be a really great improvement for the area. We'll have funding to invest in the remaining park space there. And as the others said, there's a lot of green space in that area. Fortunately, we have a great partnership with the school corporation, and they allow the public to use some of their facilities. I know that they're, looking to improve things there by Columbia as well. I'm not sure what the status of that is, but there's a lot of availability for play and playground and other type of access there, and we think that the development, in conjunction with the redevelopment commission, will help us provide even more of that while, providing some necessary housing and improving, maybe some retail and commercial options in that area as well. So we think it'll all work very well together. But redevelopment commission is the one that took that RFP through, has awarded, I believe, the project contingent on the offer being made to purchase the property, and so all of that is still ongoing, but that's
So
who it's
they
running
have
through.
awarded, or they hope to award?
So there was a proposal sent in from a real estate group interested in investing in that property. They offered to purchase the property at its appraised value, which was a requirement from the RFP, and so as long as they meet the requirements, I don't remember what the deadline was. They gave, I believe, maybe 6 months. Dave, do you remember how much due diligence time they gave them? 4 months. So they gave them a couple months to do the due diligence. If they come through, with the development proposal, with the purchase price that they had offered, then an agreement will be able to be reached. But they still have some time to work through all of that with our economic development director and redevelopment commission and all of that.
So I'm curious about parking. It's already often very crowded on Wheatland Avenue. And, the farmer's market boondoggle didn't go through because parking is an issue.
That's not quite correct, ma'am.
In
So
part. It was a fact.
Very, very little to do with it, actually. But
It was more about
the proposal that we've received would include parking that's required for the area. There would be garages for the single-family homes and for the duplexes and for all of that. So that would be encompassed in that area. Obviously, more people living down there adds a little bit of traffic, but it's not going to be all street. You're not going to see cars lined up all along the street and all that kind of stuff. That's not how the development would be.
On some days, there are already cars and trucks and all kinds of other vehicles lined up all along the street.
I understand that, and likely, when the development comes, they won't be able to be parked in front of people's drives and houses and things like that. So that would probably help aesthetically as far as street parking in that area as well.
I don't know whether I've mentioned before, I think perhaps I did at one meeting, that is along the original route of the Potawatomi Trail of Death. And when the caravan comes through every 5 years to make the car journey of 660 miles in a 1-week period, they drive slowly past there and pause to see the river, and then they go on down and again pause and see the river. And that is a very important part of our history. That was a mistake, of our governor at that time, to violate, to accept false treaties, because the Potawatomi did not have an appointed leader. They followed whomever in their group spoke wisdom and didn't follow somebody, at any juncture in the week, the month, the season.
I understand that part of it. None of us were involved in any of that.
Of course not, but
So
are we learning?
That has nothing to do with development we're talking about, and so if you have anything else on it, I'd be happy to talk to you afterwards. You're welcome to send emails, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I don't know.
I'm
that this
sorry to
is-
take your time. I know you're very busy.
I don't know that this is
And
the
all
form to
of
talk
you are
about the
very busy.
Potawatomi Trail.
But the Potawatomi history
Mhm.
is observed in Logansport by what? At the museum, there's some exhibits there. Potawatomi history is observed by one road name, kind of outside town, is it? Is it within town? That's a big part. Logansport played a big role in that history, and I think that we need to observe it.
Would
That part
be happy
would
to
be a
hear
way-
any ideas that you have on, other
Yeah,
ways that we could
maintain
do
it.
it. I don't know that the park has anything to do with it. And
Well, the park can have a lot to do with it.
And there will still be green space there. I mean, it's something that could be incorporated. Once again, if you have productive ideas on how we could do that with the remaining green space that would be there and the improved park space, I would think we'd be very open to suggestions on that.
Yeah, I think the developers will be interested in the best space, and the remainder will be that little sliver right by Third Street where it's noisy and crowded. That will be there.
The best, most visible piece of the property with ample green space and the opportunity to improve river access with the staircase right there.
That
I'm
sliver.
perfectly aware of how
When there's a tree planted
space is there.
every 20 feet, it's hard to play, a pickup volleyball game under the trees. It's just my intuition about how things will proceed, that the park will get the less favorable space, park remnant, in my view. We'll see what
I
happens.
tend to disagree, and I think that when the development comes, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Well, I'll hope there'll be a period of an equal time, 4 months following the proposal that is presented, for the public to respond to it.
The public has the ability to respond to it right now, all the way up.
There's no proposal to see. There's only words that are very promising.
Because you showed up today and you hadn't done the work to ask us for these things and ahead of time.
I had done the
doesn't
work
mean
to
that-
go on the website and look. I had done.
That's not where those things end up.
The minutes don't end up on the website? That's not a plan?
You know what, ma'am, you can go on YouTube and watch every single one of these meetings, every redevelopment commission meeting, I believe, right? And
I
Board of
tried
Works
to
meeting,
go-
the city council meeting, they're all recorded, they're all available for you to
I
watch.
tried to go on the city website and look for the development committee's meeting, and it said not available, not available, not available. Then I called this morning, may I? And I was trying to reach Tyler Pearson, but he's not named in the voice message that you get. You're not on there yet. So I spoke to a kind man, Ross Anderson. He explains that you can't, it's not on the City of Logansport website. You go to YouTube first, and then you click on live. Well, if it's an archived meeting, I wouldn't normally click on a live link if I want to go back and look for city archives, would I? So there's
That's just how
partnership.
YouTube works, ma'am. That's
not-
just
it's
how
not-
YouTube works when you're doing live videos. They do it live so that the public can stay home and watch it live as it's happening. And so that's just how it ends up on YouTube. So once again, it's very easy to go on there and find the meetings that you're looking for. If you're looking for specific documents, then I would urge you to reach out to his office, and they can take care of that for you very easily.
Well, a quote from Mr. Anderson, when I asked him, is that easy for you to find? He said, it would take some time, and how about the agendas? I'm not sure. I would call the Parks Department. I said, no, the Parks Department is no longer working on that issue. Well, then I would call the mayor, or call the deputy mayor, and I would go in and fill out a request. That's how they recommended that I deal with it, and it's not adequate. And, the
I'm sorry,
other cities
anyway.
have a website.
I think
At least you can provide a link to your set of all your meetings and provide an explanation that when it says live, it might be an archive, and tell us how far back it goes in time, if you want transparency, which I know you do, Mayor, right? Going forward?
Absolutely.
And I hope for 4 months for the public to respond to the proposal that is made for development.
More than welcome to.
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, any other miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered? Yes, sir?
I'm waiting on the wife to raise her hand.
You're okay.
Come up here and take care of this.
Sure.
I think it's great. There's somebody in this in the Parks Department. In the parks, we live up on Smead Street. They've got the dog park. I was really concerned about that. But I think it's going to be a positive thing because nobody was taking care of the parks. I'm being nice about the infield went to grass. We used to watch the Pee-wees play there all the time, and then the intermediate kids played. And it was a big draw. Tournaments were their big draw, and I was kind of concerned about this, but I think that's going to be a positive for our neighborhood.
Thank you.
And I came here to speak about my neighborhood, and I should have been more involved in this way before this. But I'm telling you guys right now, I'm going to be here at all your meetings from now on. And I think our community needs to be more involved in what's going on. Randy Ulrich is doing his job as code enforcement. Somebody's dropping the ball. Somebody's dropping the ball, and it's not him. And he was concerned that we were going to bring him out. My son is Brian Hyde, our animal control. And he said, Dad, be careful. I said, it's okay, you can get me out of jail. It's okay. There's been neighborhoods in our place where people have retired and they've moved away or died. Most of them have died. And they've been places where people have no desire in taking care of their property. And we've let it go and let it go. It's been 2 years now that the properties across the alley from me, between George and Smead, the weeds are higher than my waist. And the man that owned that place was immaculate. In-ground pool, beautiful home, and he passed away 3 years ago. Haitian people moved in, and they have no regards for that property at all, zero. And I know he's wrote code enforcement. He wrote it last year, it never got mowed, and he wrote it again this year, and it's still up to my waist. You go down 3 houses, and the weeds are high, you can't hardly see the guy's back porch. And the last time they came in there was a couple years ago, and whoever did it, I guess they come in and just knock down the weeds. I don't know. They used to come in and manicure them and charge them $150. That's what it used to be. They come in and manicure it, and then you pay for it. Now I'm hearing, well, it's all the landlords. There's got to be some kind of holding those guys accountable for those property. And you know what? I know a lot of the landlords. They just don't do it. If it's not part of that property, the guy that's renting that property to mow that yard, they're not doing it. Somebody's got to be held accountable if they're not. And he was concerned that Linda was going to dog him out in this meeting. I said, hey, you're doing it. As long as you do your job, Randy, my problem. But from there to there, it's non-existent. And I read in there, there's so many citations being in, there's been 2 taken care of. I'm going, what is that? How could that be? If I don't pay my electricity, guess what? What do? You turn my electricity off. You don't say, I'm sorry, you're late. My water, same way. You don't pay your insurance, you don't have any insurance. And I'm going, how am I any different than anybody else that's moved here, whether they're illegals or however they got here, to stay by our standards? We have standards. Facebook said Logansport was number 5 in the best city to move to and retire in Indiana. Do you guys know that? Take them to my neighborhood and see if they come here. It's a sad day that these young people, and what she said about the kids, our kids are our future. If you don't take care of them. When I came here after Vietnam in 1970, and I've been at that address for 37 years, I've never seen it as bad as I've seen. I've never seen no more disrespect about throwing trash out, cleaning their cars out along the street and just leaving it. Parking their cars in their yards. It's terrible. It's just terrible. And I'm just telling you guys now, I'm going to get with that lady if she don't leave yet about the parks and stuff, because I'm really interested in that. Our kids, and seeing a place for them to go and play, because we've told young people, you guys are going to miss out what we experienced in Logansport in 1970. Freedom, you could go out at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, walk down the street, you didn't worry about getting mugged or your car jacked. You know, and we're facing that right now. And I know a lot of the policemen. I know a lot of them. A lot of them I know some of the lawyers who went through DOC where I worked. And they're saying the same thing. You know, things have to change here, and it starts with the community. It doesn't start with you guys. You guys sit in your little seats and everything. It doesn't start with you guys. It starts with the community saying, we're concerned and this is what needs to be taken care of. Now, if somebody needs to say, Mr. Hyder, we're going to pay you so much, you could take care of that yard. I'll take care of their yard. Are you with me? You gotta grow sometimes. Sometimes you just have to step up and man up. And, that's all I want to say. I will get with that lady before he leaves. I'm really interested in the parks. I don't know I had a landscaping business, and I like flowers. I got a beautiful garden. I got a beautiful yard, and I think maybe that's what really bothers me when I walk out and walk through my back fence and see that. Makes you sick. And you know what? They're able. If those people weren't able to do it, it'd be different. But those guys are bruisers. Anyway, like I said, I don't know what the step is, what we need to do, but Randy's doing his job, and wherever it stops, the buck doesn't stop with him. He's doing his job the best he can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you telling people that. All right. Miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including section 504, compliance or concern. All right. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 3:40 p.m.
Second.
Call for question.
Adrian Grant,
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Jacob Palmasuck.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned. Have a great